welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we're going to be going over chapter 10 of Twilight, which is interrogations. So if you're following along with us and you want to go catch up, please do so and then come back here.
Yes. And before we get too deep into anything, just a reminder, please like, follow, and subscribe at any of our socials, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, and Instagram. The handle for all four is at Chaos Chronicles Podcast, and that's Chronicles with an S.
Yes.
Yes. So even though we just recorded the previous chapter, we're going to give you guys a quick summary of the last chapter. Bella and Edward had kind of a heart-to-heart, kinda, in the cars. He drove her back from Port Angeles, where she had had a scary encounter with some individual men who wanted her harmed.
Yep.
So Edward has not straight out admitted to being a vampire in his words, and she hasn't exactly called him one either. They just went over some theories, and Edward reiterated that, like, you shouldn't care about me, I'm always worried about you. And Bella goes, oh, well, I always worry about you and I care about you. And he goes, well, you shouldn't. Jerk. And so it ends with Edward dazzling her as he drops her off by leaning in and breathing on her.
It was a great quote.
Okay. Breathing on her. She's stunned. She goes inside and Jessica calls to say, hey, did you make it home? Also tell me everything that happened. And Bella's like, yeah, I'll tell you tomorrow in Trig. And so Bella realizes as she goes to bed that there are three things she knew for certain. 1, Edward was a vampire. 2, a part of him she didn't know how much wanted her blood. And 3, she was unequivocally, irrevocably?
Unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
I tried.
The famous quote. We finally made it to the quote.
The quote. Yes, we're finally there. So that is where we left off in chapter 9. Here we are, chapter 10.
Yeah. So Bella wakes up the next morning from her Port Angeles adventure with Jessica and Angela, and most importantly, Edward. Debatable. When she wakes, she can't be sure that last night wasn't just a dream, since logic or common sense weren't on her side. She clung to the parts that she knew definitely weren't a dream, like his smell. So much of this is just like eye roll.
It is.
Ugh.
Can't judge too much though, because I am a smell person.
I do understand. There were some guys in high school that you're like, okay, you do smell really good.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that weren't, if you're in high school, do not overly use cologne or perfume.
No.
Like, we don't need you walking into the room and the whole room smells like whatever you
We don't
spray.
need to be assaulted by your cologne, okay?
Yeah, no.
Or perfume.
But just a little bit.
A little bit.
So nice. It goes a long way.
Yes.
It
does.
So nice.
You apply it by going squirt, dabby, 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 and if you really need to, dabby, dabby.
Mm-hmm.
Not on your clothes, though. The oil will stain it.
Yeah. And for those of you listening and not watching, basically spray on wrist, rub wrist together, wrists on, and wrist
dab
to the
your
neck.
Wrist right behind your ear on your neck. Yep. On either side. Yeah. Oh, we didn't have a stabby, but we had a dabby.
Dabby dabby.
Dabby dabby. There we go. Yes.
Twilight version of stabby stabby.
Well, they have sucky sucky, but
on that note, so we're gonna continue. We're just not gonna acknowledge that one.
Yep.
It was dark and foggy out this morning, so there's no reason as to why Edward wouldn't be at school. Since she didn't have her jacket, she dressed heavily, and then her remembering that she didn't have her jacket was further proof that last night's events really did happen. Bella went downstairs, and Charlie was already gone for the day. She didn't realize that she was running so late, so she scarfed down food and hoped that the rain would wait until she saw Jessica and got her jacket back.
I hate the idea of scarfing down food in the morning. Ugh.
Yeah, not the...
Nope.
No. It was actually so foggy out that Bella didn't notice that there was a silver car in the driveway until she was a few feet down the driveway. Bella didn't even see Edward get out, but all of a sudden, he was opening a door for her. He asked if she wanted to ride with him to school today. He had uncertainty in his voice, and Bella concluded that he was truly giving her a choice. Was he, though?
He was on that one. I feel like I remember that scene of him being nervous in Midnight Sun, because like it was kind of his last of like, if you don't want me, your last chance.
Bella, you should have said no. But she didn't. Edward had brought her a jacket because he didn't want her to get sick. Bella assures him that she isn't that delicate, and Edward mutters, "Aren't you?"
That's what I was thinking. Like, wow.
He said it so low that Bella doesn't think that she was meant to hear it, though. Not quite. Edward is surprised that she isn't questioning him today and admits that her reactions bothered him because they are cool and unnatural. He wants to know what she's really thinking. Bella says that she always tells him what she's thinking, but Edward says it's the edited version and it's enough of a difference that drives him insane.
Welcome to being human.
Yeah. Okay, one person that you can't read minds. Whoop-de-frickin-do.
You should be freaking joyous for the amount of headache to be a mind reader. No, gracias. I don't want to know everybody's thoughts. It's bad enough I know them on the internet.
Right? Yeah, no. So Bella asks where his family is, and Edward says that they took Rosalie's red convertible. They don't normally take it because they try their best to blend in.
Yeah, you blend.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that was a Marissa Tomei quote from My Cousin Vinny. Sorry. Movies are in my brain.
Yeah, no, they all stick out like a sore thumb.
A very beautiful, chiseled sore thumb.
They're the Cullens.
I gotta admit, though, you know, how they're described, aside from being really pale, if you saw a bunch of very beautiful individuals in high school, especially when everyone's like awkward and gay, oh dear God, they were in a high school. Not everyone has figured out bodily hygiene by that point, and they have advanced smelling. Oh, you poor souls.
Well, also, they're choosing to go to high school. You've been 17 for how long now? I don't think you need to be in high school.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that, which he'll talk about later, so I won't say it right now. But also, I have a good sense of smell. I have a really good sense of smell. And it was rough for me going through middle school and high school smelling like it's rough for me on a day-to-day basis. Where some folks, they come in and I'm like, whoo, we believe deodorant is a personal choice, do we? Okay.
Use deodorant.
And soap and toothpaste.
And soap. Work on personal hygiene. Because even if it's good, there's always room for improvement.
There is. Wash your butt.
Yeah. Daily.
Yeah.
Daily.
Where were we?
Oh, they're blending in.
Oh, they're blending. Oh, yeah.
Bella asks why Rosalie drove today then if they try to blend in and not take her car. Edward's response is that he is breaking all the rules now.
I do remember this.
Jessica was waiting for her under the cafeteria roof with Bella's jacket, and it looked as if her eyes were about to pop out of her head. Both Bella and Edward say good morning to her once they get close enough, and Jessica is definitely taken aback and is trying to gather her jumbled thoughts. She abruptly tells Bella that she will see her in Trig, and Bella is trying to think of what she's going to tell her or ask her.
If I recall in the movie, I might be merging a little bit, But like they have more of this conversation of I'm breaking all the rules now when they're in the parking lot walking in, because Rosalie and crew are shooting looks. Mainly Rosalie is just like
You could see that.
over at him. And Edward puts his arm around Bella and he's like, well, I'm going to hell anyway. And like they walk in and I think Bella does something, or I'm sorry, Jessica does something and Bella just kind of like winks at her. And Bella's like,
What's up with winking in this?
honestly, I don't know folks that wink as much as characters in books do.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, I feel like people who write it, they don't know how to describe a look between two people.
So winking is easier.
Winking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's very few times, again, we've talked about winking, very few times that ever works. If you see me winking at you, assume that that is a preordained, pre-discussed signal.
Yeah, I was going to say that you winking at me shoots red flags. So Edward asks Bella exactly that. So what is she going to tell Jessica? Bella says, hey, I thought you couldn't read my mind. Edward says he can't, but he can read Jessica's, and she's waiting until Trig to ambush her. Bella asks what Jessica wants to know, but Edward initially holds back, and he ends up telling her that Jessica wants to know if they're secretly dating, and she wants to know how Bella feels about him. I remember in high school there was so much drama that like just consumed me. I'm like, oh, so and so is sitting together at lunch. Ooh. Like even if there was nothing, and I'm like,
no. I also remembered the wanting to know how you felt about somebody else, which like on that note, and a quick side, you know you have a good guy friend when they will secretly record that conversation, because
you got them to record that conversation.
One of my guy friends from band, he was friends with my high school the long-term boyfriend, and so he asked him, he's like, hey, what do you think of Connie? And we all had school iPads, and so he had it down, but the downside was all three of them spoke Spanish and I didn't, so the video's in Spanish. And Edgar, my friend, he was like, no, English. And of course, my boyfriend and the other friend who was one of my bandmates, they kept speaking Spanish. But yeah, I messaged my friend back. I'm like, you got to translate, dude. Like,
yeah,
Senior Olsen did not give me enough Spanish.
not for a real conversation.
Not for real, but it was so
that
sweet.
That is cute. The most I got was I got some of my guy friends to go and like just be like, just put some feelers out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the strategizing, the love and war that is the politics of dating in high school, and not even dating, talking to, having a fling with. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I remember I was talking to someone, like it wasn't even a fling yet, and it was my friend's ex, but like there wasn't bad blood between them. And she basically just like disowned me. And I was like, well, we're not even a thing. So
yeah, people can get weird about that.
Yeah.
There was a couple folks where I'm like, yeah, even when you guys break up, off limits. And I thought that would kind of be the case for some girls that I was like acquaintances with. And then the ex at the time, the one who actually did the speeding with my sister in the car from the other episode, yeah, he said a bunch of stuff that was not true about me. And then one of my acquaintances believed him and then started dating him and didn't really talk to me. But then she saw through him pretty quickly, and then she ended up breaking up with him. And then another one of my acquaintances dated him instead. And I'm like,
yeah.
Really? And I should clarify, I'm not being possessive over the ex, but like literally it was just such a weird where I'm like, he said bad things about me. Why would you date him? Like, you've known me for longer. What?
And you should know that it's not true. And yeah, no.
And then my dumbass dated him again. I think it was sophomore year, junior year, because it was freshman year that all went down.
Well, us high schoolers us high school past tense, needed many times to figure out one thing. My first boyfriend, I don't even know how many times we broke up and got back together.
Yep.
And then we were technically like broken up, but still together.
Yeah, I had that with this one too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're judging Bella harshly. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, we were not perfect at all. This is prefrontal cortex development so we were
During our boy crazy phase.
yeah.
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 We
We grew out of it, thank God.
yeah.
Yeah. And now it's a funny thing because I'm like, you and I don't have the same type at all. So I'm like, even if there was divorce, which not, even if there was, I'm like, not even any version of concern between the two of us.
Honestly, no. Yeah, like
Yep.
even before we were each with our current partners, husbands, um there was no way, like
No overlap.
there was no overlap even with anything. I mean, even the way that you guys like talk to each other is so playful. I'm like, yeah, Mitch and I would never do that.
No, I know.
And it's like, but it's like vice versa though. Like,
Mhm. No, it is completely different, which is why it works.
yeah.
See, that's the key to good friendship there. If you're worried that your friends are going to try to take your significant other, one, if they actually are, get new friends. Those are not friends. And two, if that's not actually the case, get your own help. But three, it helps if you have completely different tastes.
Yeah. And also, if they can take them, let them, because A, they don't deserve you. Actually, no, neither of them deserve you.
Yeah,
So
nope.
say bye.
Say bye to both.
Yes.
Yeah, if someone can be taken, they were never really yours.
Nope. Wandering eyes are a thing. And if they got wandering eyes,
You don't want it.
say bye.
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually it'll catch up.
It does. It does in one way or another.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we did have some good nuggets of wisdom today.
We did. You're welcome.
Yeah, might be 1 out of 5. How many?
Every 5 episodes.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back into Twilight here, Bella asks for advice on what she should say to Jessica. And Edward says, quote, I suppose you could say yes to the first, if you don't mind. It's easier than any other explanation. So they're dating.
Well, that's very much a high school way to do that. Like not putting a real label on it. No, college. That's more of a college way to do it.
Bella agrees. And then Edward continues, quote, as for her other question, I'll be listening to hear the answer to that one myself. End
Wait,
quote.
what was the second question? How does she feel about it?
How does she
feel about him? Got it. Got it.
He then walks away saying that he will see her at lunch. So Bella hurries to class and Mike is asking about how Port Angeles was. Bella says that Jessica got a great dress. Mike is wanting to know if Jessica said anything about Monday's dinner. And Bella tells him that Jessica, had a really good time. Mike seems very excited and happy about this response, and then class begins. Finally, Trig rolls around, and Edward was right. Jessica was in the back row and was nearly bouncing off her seat. Bella was debating not sitting next to her when Jessica says to tell her everything. Bella explains that he bought her dinner and then drove her home. Jessica questions how she got home so fast. Was it a date? And that he picked her up today following their non-date last night. And are you guys going out again? All the questions. We need all the details.
I mean, as a high schooler, I would have done the same. As a
Same.
grown adult, I'd do the same now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
100%.
Give me all the details.
Mhm.
Tell me every second. Do not miss anything.
No, I do that with my single friend, my single bridesmaid. Whenever she has any interesting date stories, I'm like, so tell me everything. Let me live vicariously through you.
I love the gossip. I don't really know. I'm not friends with anyone that's like single though.
I think she's my only friend that's single.
I kind of miss the drama of the single people. Not the me single trauma, but like, all right, so she wants all the details. Bella asks if them going to Seattle on Saturday counts for them going out again. Of course it does.
Yes.
Jessica seems to be in shock and then abruptly asks, "Wait, has he kissed you?" Both of them look disappointed when Bella says no, and Jessica asks, "Do you think Saturday ... Bella brushes it off and says that she doesn't know, but she doubts it. Jessica wants even more details. Bella tells her about the very beautiful 19 to 20-year-old waitress that was flirting with him, but that he didn't pay any attention to her. Jessica says that it's a good sign and he must like her. But she doesn't know how she's brave enough to be alone with him because he's so intimidating and gorgeous, and Jessica wouldn't even know what to say to him.
I mean, Bella's had those moments.
She has.
When he leans over and breathes on her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get over that.
And if you missed that part, that's in the very tail end of chapter 9. So go check that one out. Jessica presses her even more, and Bella admits to really liking him. She liked him too much, and she definitely liked him more than he liked her. Their trig teacher called on Jessica and gave Bella a break from the interrogation. Jessica wasn't able to question her for the rest of class, and once class was over, Bella turned the attention to her, saying that Mike asked Bella if Jessica
enjoyed dinner on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got you.
My sentence did not make sense. Jessica was super excited, and she wanted all of the details of Mike's exact words and facial expressions. I do remember that in high school, though.
Same.
Oh, that is bringing me back to some fun times.
See, now we're getting to the fun parts of all this.
Yeah, I'm taking Edward chapter by chapter, trying to let go of the previous chapter. Do not do that in real relationships.
No.
When you see a red flag, go the opposite way.
Go fast.
Yeah. So at the end of the next class, Bella gathered her things, and Jessica guessed correctly that Bella wasn't sitting with their group today. When Bella exited the class, quote, leaning against the wall, looking more like a Greek god than anyone had a right to, Edward was waiting for me. Jessica took one look, rolled her eyes, and departed. Jessica is me.
Yeah, Jessica is Jessica.
When Bella entered the lunchroom with Edward, she feels like it's her first day of school all over again. Everyone was staring at her. Edward filled a tray of food, and Bella objected and asked what he was doing. Edward shook his head and says, half is for him. Okay. Bella is confused but doesn't say anything. People continue to stare at them, but Edward doesn't seem to notice. He pushes the tray to her and says to take whatever she wants. Edward seems to get distracted and then starts talking about the waitress that Bella said was pretty and that something that she said to Jessica bothered him.
So he's listening in on all the conversations.
Well, he did say that he was going to be listening for her answer.
At least he gave her some warning.
Yeah.
To me, that drives me nuts because I'm very much a privacy freak.
Same.
Where I'm like, no, I don't like the idea of you being able to listen and do all this and I don't get to have my own space.
Yeah, no. Give me my space.
I even remember as a kid, as I was reading it, I'm like, did he watch her change? Did he watch her as she was going to the bathroom? Changing a tampon?
Yeah, I just...
farting in her sleep. I don't know. I was like, don't like.
No. So Bella isn't surprised that there were some things in the conversation that he didn't like. That's what happens when you eavesdrop.
Hey.
Edward responds saying that he warned her that he would be listening. Bella bounced back, saying that she warned him that he doesn't want to know everything that she was thinking.
Go, Bella!
Finally, I can say good job, Bella.
Heck, yes, this is good. Give that pushback. Set those boundaries. We like that.
We love that. Boundaries are good. Set boundaries.
Boundaries are good.
Edward finally gets to what bothered him the most. She felt she cared for him more than he did her. He asked if that's truly how she feels, while leaning closer to her as he spoke.
Well, how in the Freddy fuck is she supposed to know otherwise? Because you don't tell her anything other than, stay away from me. Like,
yeah. That's exactly how I pictured that, by the way. That's how I see all of that interaction going on in my head. Yeah. Oh, gosh. So at that moment, Bella had to remind herself to exhale, and she had to look away before the words came to her. Bella says he is dazzling her again, but then says that she doesn't really think that, or that she does really think that.
I was
sorry.
I was like, really?
Nope, that's just my brain.
Brain's doing a brain.
That's dyslexia at its finest right there. When Edward objects, Bella says that he can't know that. Did I miss a sentence?
Oh, so Bella says, yes, I believe that I care for you more than you care for me, or she affirms that's what she believes. And he says, that's not true. Yep. And Bella's like, how could you possibly know that?
Thank you. I did miss a sentence in there. So thank you for filling that in.
I got you.
This is why Connie's here, to call me out on me missing stuff.
No, honestly, or it's literally just remembering it. I'm like, oh yeah, because I thought this was kind of romantic in a weird way. Yeah. As a kid with a not developed frontal cortex.
And now we're rereading it, or she's rereading it. I'm like, red flag, red flag, red flag. So when Edward objects, Bella says that he can't know that. Ultimately, she views herself as, quote, absolutely ordinary. Well, except for bad things, like all the near-death experiences and being so clumsy that I'm almost disabled. And look at you, end quote. Edward reassures her that she doesn't see herself clearly. She may be correct with the bad things, but she also didn't hear what every male in the school was thinking on her first day. And Bella needs to trust him just this one time that she is the opposite of ordinary. Edward changes the subject and asks if she really needs to go to Seattle on Saturday, or if it was just an excuse to say no to all of her admirers. Bella says that she hasn't forgiven him for the Tyler thing yet, because it's his fault that Tyler now thinks that she is going to prom with him. I mean, yeah, if you didn't block the traffic that day, Tyler would have never gotten the chance.
Also, I'm going to defend Edward just a little real quick. If I was an 87-year-old repeating high school for the umpteenth time, and I had the ability to just see a little bit of drama that would maybe give me entertainment. Okay, so we left off with, you don't know what all the boys are thinking about you. Just trust me on this one. You're not ordinary.
Bella says that she hasn't forgiven him for the Tyler thing yet, because it's his fault that Tyler thinks she is now going to prom with him. Edward laughs and says that Tyler wouldn't have found a chance to ask her without him. He really just wanted to see the look on Bella's face. Edward also wants to know if he asked Bella if she would have said no also. Bella said she probably wouldn't have, but would have had to fake an injury or illness last second to get out of the dance, because she can barely walk without tripping over anything, so how could she possibly dance? Edward is confident that that wouldn't be a problem, as he would be leading her. He then asks if they can switch up their plans for Saturday. Bella is open to it, but only if she can drive. I don't blame you. Her reasoning is partly due to avoid Charlie asking questions, but mostly because Edward's driving frightens her. It would frighten me too. Edward tells her that the weather on Saturday is supposed to be nice, so he will be staying out of the public eye, and he invites her to stay with him. Bella is excited because Edward can finally show her what he meant about him being in the sun. Edward tries to get Bella to tell Charlie where she is, so he has some incentive to bring her back. And Bella says, "I'll take my chances." Bella changes the subject and asks why he went to Goat Rocks since Charlie said that it was highly populated with bears. Edward tries to joke, saying she knows bear isn't in season, but eventually tells her that grizzly is Emmett's favorite. He also tells Bella that mountain lions are his favorite, but they have to be careful to not impact the environment. They try to focus on areas that are overpopulated with predators. There are also always plenty of deer and elk, and they'll do, but that's not fun. Spring is Emmett's favorite season for bear because they are just coming out of hibernation, so they're more irritable.
I do remember this.
No.
That's the fun part of Emmett.
It's just the fun part.
Emmett is just the big himbo where he's like, oh, I have a chance to use my strength and have fun. Yay! Like, let's do it. He'd be the hold my beer type of guy.
Kind of sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah. But in like the best possible way. Like the one dude, you'd be like, aw, he's so sweet. Also, no, dude, you don't need to show us how you can stack 12 chairs and stand on top of them because someone dared you to.
No one wants to know, but that's insurance for job insurance for all your EMS workers.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a frequent flyer.
Oh, for sure. We had a couple of those. Not gonna lie.
I believe it.
So Bella agrees nothing is more fun than an irritated grizzly bear. She's trying to picture it, but she can't. After all, how can they hunt a bear without weapons? Edward assures her they do indeed have weapons, just not ones that are considered when writing hunting laws. If you have ever seen a bear attack on TV, you should be able to visualize Emmett hunting. You're
Big
just
strong,
over here like,
yep. Yep.
At that moment, Bella got a shiver down her spine, and she glanced over to Emmett. Bella asked if he likes bear too, but Edward says no. They compare him more to a lion. Or if he's like a bear too. Mm-hmm. Not if he likes bear. If he is like a bear too. So no, he is compared to more of a lion. Then Bella asks if this is something that she could see. Edward goes paler than usual and furiously says absolutely not. Bella wonders if it's because it's too scary, but Edward presses on that if it were just that, he would show her tonight because, quote, you need a healthy dose of fear. Nothing could be more beneficial for you, end quote.
I'm gonna agree here.
Edward glares at Bella for a long while and doesn't answer. He finally says he'll tell her later. They're gonna be late. The cafeteria was nearly vacant at this point. Bella jumps up and grabs her bag. Later then, or quote, later then, I agree. I won't forget. End quote. And end of chapter 10. So we learn quite a bit more about Edward and his brother. Emmett's like a bear. Edward's like a lion. Edward likes mountain lions. And Emmett likes spring grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Oh, wow. It's not just me.
You go. Wow. Spring grizzlies. Yeah, I mean, it is sweet though, because again, I've got that perspective from Midnight Sun where I got to hear Emmett's thoughts throughout things. And again, I cannot wait for us to get to a key scene so I can tell you what Emmett's thinking in it, because like it's so sweet and it's what cemented me as like, oh, I like him. I really like him. Again, he's good. He himbo. In a good way. He's a himbo.
He's a himbo? What's a himbo?
The large, hunky, but respects women type of deal. Like Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, may not necessarily be, like, the most suave, but very, like, just you can tell he'd be one of those where, like, he loves his mama, he loves his wife is a goddess, he loves her, he loves his family, he just loves life. So, like, that's the
All
vibe we
right.
got. We
Well,
like those.
hopefully Emmett's a good guy. Apparently we like Emmett.
We like Emmett.
We like Emmett.
We do like the Cullens. Again, Edward's got his stuff. Jasper's got some of his stuff. But
Jasper.
Alice's
Why do I feel
partner.
like Jasper's not a good one?
It's not that he's not. Well, I'll give you a mini spoil. He's the newest member of the family, the newest one to the lifestyle.
Gotcha.
And he actually plays a big role in Eclipse.
Okay. Okay, well, we will get to it eventually.
I'm saying nothing.
I am just glad that Edward is finally giving Bella some answers instead of saying, no, you're crazy. Because she deserved those answers.
Oh, yeah. No, we're getting better. He's not fully honest with her for quite a while.
Shocking.
Actually, I don't think he's fully honest with her in the book, period. This book.
Cool.
Later, yes. But in this book,
No.
Even at the ending, he's not fully honest.
It's okay. So our next chapter, chapter 11, will be complications. I have not read that far yet, so I have no idea what that'll be about, but that will be for next week's episode for you guys, unless we start really cranking through these and pushing them out, but I don't think we will be by then. So
if I remember correctly, nope. I think I'm remembering Midnight Sun. Still a good chapter, though. I think that chapter, the complications one, I feel like that's the one where it's got the scene that Stephanie Meyer, she dreamed of the two of them in a field, and like she woke up and she was so upset that she had woke up from that dream and tried to go back to sleep and finish it, and that's what inspired the Twilight series.
Okay, I love those dreams that you not too long ago. I remember I was dreaming. Mitch woke me up for some reason. I don't remember what the reason was, but I told him, no, I have to go back and tell so-and-so this and blah, blah, blah. And then I just like conked back out and I went right back into that dream.
I love it when that happens, unless it's a scary dream. I've had that sometimes with the nightmares.
I've had that too. I'm talking about the happy dreams. We don't talk about the scary dreams. At least with Twilight, we don't talk about the scary stuff.
No, we had enough scary. We recorded a scarier episode earlier today.
We did. Yeah. So we recorded Black Dahlia. So if you guys want to go check that one out, you should go check it out because it will have been out by now. So
yeah. We also recorded the ghost ship.
The ghost ship of the Great Lakes. And then So I'm not sure if all of those will have been published by now, but keep your eyes open. If they haven't all been published, you know what's coming next. So stay tuned. Go check them out. Make sure that you are following us on social media. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Not
what
Facebook.
Came out of that? YouTube and Spotify. We are not on Facebook. Probably will never be on Facebook. Sorry. But all of those other platforms, we are at Chaos Chronicles Podcast, and that's Chronicles with an S.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, technically.
Technically, yeah. Bye.
Adios.